and welcome to Rolling with Two. I'm Will, and with me as always is the rootin' tootin' one on the weekends,
Sarah.
And today we're doing a two-player perspective and accessibility for Fliptown. Now, if you want to see our review and our opinion, check out Rolling with Reviews, Fliptown. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right. Fliptown is a flip and write game in which you're trying to earn stars exploring a Wild West town. Using a standard deck of cards, players will make tough decisions on how to utilize the cards in the various areas of the map. Many times, the riskiest choices are the most rewarding. Whoever has the most points after 3 rounds wins. And we'll also be covering the Outskirts mini expansion, which comes with 4 Outskirt cards, 2 Cowbot cards, and 2 character cards. All right, Will, so how does the gameplay change for 2 players?
So for 2 players, the only bot that's in the game is for solo. There's Cowbots. So that's where like the mini expansion would add to that to have even more variety. As for the other player counts, the only change happens with the mini expansion when playing with the Outskirts cards. So a game setup requires you to have 3 bounties. And these are goals that you go for during the course of the game. Now, in the Outskirts, 1 bounty is left as normal, and then the other bounties are set between players, but on their less valuable side. And then an Outskirt card goes with it to show that you also get a bonus that way. Since the person since 2 people are sitting both to the left and to the right of each other, it just says you use 2 bounty cards with their Outskirts cards between the players, and that's the change.
Yes, which makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
All right, so issues in a 2-player count, we found the bounties can make the game swingy between players because it's 7 points. If one player gets them, the other player, if they're managing to do it, would be 4 points, but then if they're not able to do it at all, would be, 7-point difference there. Yeah,
which makes a really big swing, and you can have much more imbalance in scores with a 2-player game.
Right, but that's the only issue we found, because what it does well is, for the most part, the game is player count neutral. However, we would point out that if you're playing 2 players and you sit side by side, it's going to be easier to see the poker cards. They're going to be, facing both players. Although the poker cards are top and back. So now
so they're pretty easy to see.
They're pretty easy to see. But if you're sitting like on the sides, if you around. Anyways, more players. Some people may have a little more difficulty seeing the poker cards just because.
Yeah.
So it's easier at 2 players.
I also want to point out that if you have the Outskirts mini expansion, then it does rebalance for 2 players. And I think it actually feels better.
Yes.
Playing a 2-player game
with the Outskirts. Yeah, because then you only have 1 bounty that's 7 points, and then 2 bounties that are 4 points, and then the difference there is whether you get the bonus.
Outskirt bonus.
Yeah, the Outskirt bonus. If you're the first person there, then you get it, and then the second person doesn't, unless you both complete it on the same turn.
Yeah, Outskirts are essentially, they'll have arrows pointing left and right, and then a bonus symbol to show what your bonus is.
It's a neat little signpost.
Yeah, so whichever way you're sitting, that's going to be your bonus if you get there first.
Yes, exactly. So that's it for the 2-player experience. On accessibility, these player boards, they are very busy. It is very tiny icons and text. So it's just, I think the learning of it is going to probably be the biggest challenge.
Yeah, it's what I'd call an open world type a game where right from the get-go, you have enough resources and things, you could pretty much choose wherever you want to go.
Right. So it's learning where everything is, what everything does. And the nice thing is since none of that changes. The more you play the game, the more you become familiar with it, the less difficult it is because you'll just know, like, this is how the mine benefits are from top to bottom. So you won't really need to see them. You'll just know, okay, if I'm taking the top left mine thing, it gives me this. And you can move on. But when you're first learning it, let's just say my back hurt because I was leaning over to look at it. And
Not only your back, you're like on my stomach muscles and my arm and my neck. And,
because it's a big board. It's not just something you can easily pick up to be closer to you. You need to move yourself closer to it. So that can be a challenge. I will point out that there is a print and play. So you can either print it larger, or if you've got the know-how, use it digitally with a digital pen, so you can enlarge it as you need to. The dry erase pens are okay, but not great. So I have ultra fine tip dry erase pens because we have a lot of roll and writes, and some of them come with really bad pens. I wouldn't say this is terrible. When I did a test, if you write carefully, the result from both is very negligibly different. But the problem is with the pens that come with the game, if you're writing fast and you press really hard, you're going to leave more ink, which, since everything is small, that's going to leave more ink in places you don't want there to be ink. So just in general, if you're having trouble with it, you might want to invest in some ultra fine tipped pens. In general, I just highly recommend them if you do play a lot of roll and writes with dry erase, boards.
Yeah.
Also, visually, because everything is sepia tones, the red icons kind of blend in just because. It's not like they're not unique, but they blend in with the graphic design, especially the diamond. Because there's a mountain range there that's almost the exact same color, when I was first learning it, I was like, I don't know where the diamond icon is. And it, again, took me a little bit to find it because it just blended into the graphic design so much.
Yeah. However, that problem does go away once you get into your second and third game.
Yes.
Because you then know spades are badlands, clubs is town, diamond is mine, heart is trail.
Right.
That type of thing.
It's an initial learning challenge. Probably could have used a stroke line or something, or make it a more vibrant red to make it pop off the graphic design. But yeah, that's it for bad things, because what it does right is, like I said, all the icons are unique. I wish, though, the icon reference had been on the back of the rules, but on the very second inside, when you first open the rules, has all the icons you pretty much need to know, so you can leave that open for your first couple of plays. The rules are pretty clear overall. And generally, the game is all open information. So if you are having trouble with something, somebody can help you.
Yeah. Well, in fact, we got tripped up on one thing, and we're like, "Oh, this is not in the rules." So ask the question, and it goes, "Yeah, this is how it is." And check page 2. And sure enough, on page 2 is the answer.
Right. So
yeah.
It's about aces. It seems like throughout the game, and it was said right up front at the beginning of the rules, but it was not reinforced in every section where an ace might come up. And that would have been nice to have reinforcement throughout the section, because when we had a question about the Badlands,
yes,
I just read the Badlands section, but it didn't address the ace, whether the ace could be high or low. In general, the ace is always low, except when you're building your poker hand, then it can be high or low as you wish. Otherwise, in every other instance, it's low.
It's 1.
It's 1. It will always be 1 when you're playing the regular aspects of the board.
Yes.
Okay, that's everything.
All right. For 2 players.
I think so. I think it's really enjoyable. I think the only thing being is you might want to invest in the Outskirts expansion to make the bounties a little more balanced for 2 players.
Yes. 2 players, definitely. For the most part, it is a player count neutral game. But the mini expansion does make that bounties less swingy, which is probably the only thing we found that kind of could upset the balance.
Right.
Accessibility.
I think mostly yes. If you're having trouble with the size of the boards, then I would recommend the print and play. Again, you can either print it out larger or use a digital device to write on it in a digital environment. But I think those were really the only major issues.
Yeah, after playing one round, you do get a sense of where everything is. There is one variant you can play called the Texas Hold'em variant. And that's where each player will get 2 cards face down that they keep secret to make their poker hands.
I thought the 2 cards were face up, and then everybody's card that they got was...
No, each person gets 2 cards.
Oh, okay.
Each person gets 2 cards to help make their poker hand, and it's up to them to use them in any way, shape, or form. But that's the only time anything is kept hidden.
And that's only if you want direct competition between players, because then only the person who gets the highest poker hand gets a benefit.
Of course, you could still play it the other way too, they said.
Oh, you could do it either way?
Either way.
Okay. He remembers better than I do.
Yes. It was just another thing you could throw in.
Yes.
All right. Sarah?
Yes.
How did you rootin' toot in this Wild West environment?
Not very well.
No, you won the second game.
I did win the second game. I'm just not a risk taker. So if you want to know more about my challenges with the game, make sure to watch our Rolling With reviews so you can find out how well a not risk taker does in a risk taking game.
There you go. And why would you ever roll with just one when you can be
rolling with two?
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with Two, that's TWO. We're on Blue Sky, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For Discord, we have a channel on Tabletop Express. Check the show notes for the invite link.
If you have time, check out the other content Nanaman has found for you, because remember, he's rolling with you.